Good afternoon. We're going to do a session highlighting the changes to the Markbook that has come out in our 5.8 release that we did over the holiday season. So welcome to a new year, and we'll see some new changes as we go through. The first change that we made was to the achievement menu. We made two changes. We consolidated some menu options. As you'll see from the documentation that I'm sure you've read, we went from 5 menu options to 2, just to make the screen a little crisper. So now for mark entry, you can access your mark entry through marks and comments by class and marks and comments by student. So I'll just highlight them to turn them red, marks and comments by class, and marks and comments by student. So those are the changes that we've made. We'll go into our marks and comments by class to start this overview of the changes and do an orientation of the screen. You might notice some lag. It's in the recording as well. The mouse may or may not come across, so I apologize in advance for that. But hopefully we'll be able to overcome that and just give yourselves a feel for the changes on the screens and why we've made those changes. So looking at the screen, one of the enhancements that we've made is the ability to collapse and expand categories, topics, and items. So you can see the little minus sign right underneath the grade. And if you hover over, we'll give you the instructions of expand or collapse the Markbook categories or items. So if I click the minus sign, I've now collapsed the categories and the items with that. Okay, if I click the plus, I will expand them. So the idea is to help you with your scrolling. So if you don't wish to scroll, and now I'm collapsing the items within the category of book report, and I could collapse the items within the category of labs. So now what I'm looking at is just my categories. I have not yet collapsed presentations, so I see the category of presentations with all of the items. So that just gives a little bit of a different view and tools for you to be able to use. And I'll just expand them a little more. Okay, looking at another change to the screen, as you'll notice under Test 1, the little green arrow icon, which indicates that curriculum has been selected for an item or a category. So in this case on Test 1, the teacher has associated curriculum outcomes and or indicators to that assessment. And if I click that, we can see with Test 1, similar triangles, what curricula has been associated with that. So that's a really nice way from the main screen to know if you have as a teacher have associated curriculum outcomes and indicators with a task or an assessment. Okay, moving along to, there's quite a few new little icons on this screen. They look like little, I call them the little post-it notes. There's a yellow post-it note, and there's a white area with a green plus sign under the book report, and then there's a little red area with a pencil. So these are all your comment icons. Just to explain what they are, new to this screen on the Markbook, if you'd like to put in a comment for the report card, right under the grade or whatever your school has set up, you'll see if it's white with the green plus sign, no comment has been entered. If it's yellow, it's like a little post-it note, it has a comment that's entered. So you can see all of the pre-existing tools for comments exist. Suggested comment bank, the context-sensitive word. Okay, you can see this, the print preview as well. New to this area is the ability to add comments to Markbook items. So if I click for Aaron, we've also got whether or not to publish or unpublish for the parents and for the students. So you'll notice in the published area, this is the comment that the parents and the students will see from Maplewood Connected for parents or students. So please don't heed any attention to the content of my comment. There we go, all of the tools that you had before still work the same. Suggested comment bank and unpublished. This could be the comment just for the teacher in my working area. There's obviously the spell check tools available there as well. So we can see we're published to the parents and unpublished to the teacher. Say OK. And what you'll notice is that little icon has changed for Aaron to now have the pencil with that little area. You'll notice right below for the student Andrea, you'll notice that it's the little yellow comment box with a red outline. That means that as a teacher I've exceeded the space for the comment. I get a little warning when I click on it. The comment may be cut off when printed. Please click the print preview to view the accurate representation. So it's quite nice that way. When you click the preview, it'll come up and it will show you actually how red this comment is. We're loading a PDF view here, so it might take a moment to load the PDF view. And as that comes up, we'll see in a moment just how red and obvious my exceeding of the comment length is. And there we go. So I can see within this PDF I really have exceeded the limits as defined for my comment parameters. Okay, so just returning to the connected screen, you can make your changes and edit the comment accordingly. I'm not going to do that from here though. Okay, the final change that we've made with respects to comments is if you'd like to add a group comment, you can go under either the topic, the category, or the items themselves. And if we click, you'll see apply group comment or apply group quick comment. So those tools exist as they did. But in the past, we had it as a menu option of apply class comment by group. Now we've embedded that within the entry screen. So it works quite nicely. So if I say, actually, I don't want the surname. Name. And I'll press the continue again. You've got your suggested comments, your teacher bank, your school bank, your board bank, and obviously your spell check as well. Press the continue button. I can now decide for whom to apply this group comment simply by checking the students. As you'll notice to the right-hand side as well, you've got the students' grades, whether or not they have a program associated with them or assigned to them, and the mark. All of these underlined columns, you can column sort. So it just gives you a little bit more functionality as you're deciding which comments. Another area that we've added under the method, previously we had the append and replace. We've now added two options. The prepend with a new line, and prepend. So pretty exciting that we've added a couple new options as well. We'll get out of there. Again, continue, select your students, and apply the comment to those students. Okay, moving along now to the area if you're adding a new category or a new item. So for example, for book reports, if I choose to add a new item. We've changed this screen quite a bit. My resolution is very high for the recording of this video, but when you're working with the Markbook yourself on your screens, what you'll notice is this window is much smaller than what it was before. It actually took up the whole screen in previous renditions. What this allows you to do is actually see your class behind and the Markbooks that you've already set up. So it's a really nice, crisp view that you'll see when working with this. We've also organized the item and category setups into different tabs. The first tab is really what you must set up with to create your categories and your items. So just walking through this process, the title, that remains the same. So if I'm adding an item to my book reports, it might just be the January 10th book report, the date, obviously you can change the date, make that the 9th. What you'll see, the letter grade group, these are great. This is a really nice new tool that we've added. If I have this set to the secondary grade, it will now display to me as the teacher what are the available letters from which I can select, whether or not it allows numeric values, and what the denominator is. So had I set this up to be the learning skills letter grade group, these would be the options from which I can select. So it works out very nice. Just gives you a little bit more information. You can see whether it's summative, formative, diagnostic, that remains the same. Publish and description, those remain the same. Denominator remains the same. And what you'll notice is the weight. It will show you at the bottom 2 new areas. One, you'll see the locked and the unlocked icons to indicate whether or not a particular term, and these boxes below will change depending on your school settings of available terms. If it is locked, obviously you cannot write to locked areas, just as in the past. And what you will see as you go through this is on the unlocked area as well, you can see that this is unlocked, and it will show you the overall percentage weight of the category. So it works out quite nicely, actually. Just a little bit more information to give you as teachers as you work through and setting up your weights. Okay, so all term weights are shown, and we just clarify that the weight is being applied to which term. So it's just to give you a little bit more information. Okay, and as we're working through this, so this, if we press the Students button, this is whether or not to include students. Previously it was a little checkbox. So if this is a makeup, perhaps this is a makeup item just for a couple students, I could exclude all of the students and only include this student and this student. And this, as a subtlety you may or may not have noticed, as I'm selecting the students to include, at the top where it says students, I have 2 of 18 of my students in my class are included in this task or item. You'll also notice any students who have been deleted from the class appear with a strike through their name. Okay, so that works out quite nicely that way. As we go through, there's also the curriculum tab. We won't spend a lot of time on this, but this was associating curriculum outcomes and indicators to an item and or a category. And this has been done in the past and is well documented. So just to show you the change in the orientation of the screen. And as well, the homework is included in this area. So just to emphasize the key areas of this, the general setup of the item or category, students included, curricula associated, and we've also made a change at the bottom to your save options. So yes, you can save, or as well if you'd like to save and add another item. If you were adding a category, it would be save and add another category. So we've just streamlined that process a little more and removed some of the buttons that you may or may not have appreciated in the past. And we'll just press the save, or needed in the past, in fact. Okay, one final item to show you on this screen, actually 2. One is the teacher resource, the online help. We've added a new, at the very top above the Done button, you'll see it looks like 3 little books. That's the online help resources. And I'm guessing you use those to get here. It's where we've got the videos and the documentations as well. So in the past, you could go to these and you would go to your online help, but we've embedded it right within the application with the books. And as well, the gears or the cog, everyone calls your options wheel right above the Done button, a little bit different. We've added a new checkbox, again, depending on whether or not you have rights to this from the school, and that is the show final mark. So if we select the show final mark, what you'll notice will happen on your screen, and just close my gears, is we've now got a new blue column. I'm not too sure how crisp and clean this comes across for you, but with the this area, what you'll see is a little information button. If I see the information button, if the school has enabled this feature, you're able to show the final mark for each student, and as well the information icon will display the term and topic weights that determine the final mark. These are also set by the school. So again, it's just the idea of giving you as teachers more information. Okay, so again, if that has been availed to the teachers, you can from the gears select that. And finally, as you move from every cell, there's no need think you had this in the past, it's an autosave as you go through. So it certainly saves your information as you go through. So that's just a quick summary of what's available by the class, the marks and comments by class. And we'll take a quick peek over to the marks and comments by student, just to highlight some of the changes in this area as it comes up. Again, you've got at the very top the little books for the teacher resources. One thing that you can look at from within the screen is you can show all of the terms at once for students. So if I look down below for Madison, currently I have this selected to my S1 final. If I select the term of all, what I can see are the semester 1 first and it's grayed out and locked, and I can see the semester 1 final. So it's really giving you a true comprehensive picture of the students' assessments throughout all of the terms if I select all. As well, if I select the comments, I can choose S1 first or S1 final, but you'll see as well both of the comments, both the published and the unpublished, in the same view. So looking to the quiz 1, we can see that the published was very good and unpublished did well and equal not so well on the right. So it works out quite nicely that way. If I set this back to a particular term, I did want to highlight that with the student programming options, you can see that these save and write to the screen as soon as you click. So again, it's an automatic save. And if you uncheck one, hopefully it's coming across, the unchecked is grayed out. And as soon as it's checked, it's a little bit emboldened. And as well on the individual screen, if you have selected from the gears show final, you can see the final mark. And if I press the information, the weighting is determined by the office, explained as well. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the changes that we've done under the achievement with the 5.8 release. We'll welcome any feedback and wish you well as you start to use the new features that we've provided. Thank you very much.